Welcome to Inside Gaming. I'm Brian. It is weekend roundup time. All right, so Diablo Immortal has been out for a little more than a month, and we've got some stats on how much money it's made. So how many chumps gave their money to this pay-to-win garbage? Well, we've got some numbers. Researcher App Magic says that in its first month of release, the controversial free-to-play Diablo raked in $49 million from 10 million downloads. So it looks like the peak came 10 days after its launch on June 11th, when Blizzard made $2.4 million in one day. Since then, it's settled down to earning about $1 million a day so far. Okay, so that's how much Diablo Immortal is making. But how does that compare to other AAA franchises that went mobile? Well, it's ahead of Apex Legends Mobile, for instance. During that game's first month, it made $11.6 million from 21.8 million downloads. So way more downloads, but it made a lot less money than Diablo Immortal, probably because it wasn't as predatory as Diablo Immortal is. But revenue-wise, Diablo Immortal still far behind something like Fortnite, which reportedly makes around $70 million each week. So you know the controversy around Diablo Immortal at this point. It's basically pay to win when you get to the end game, with initial estimates from some channels saying that it would cost upwards of $100,000, $110,000 to max out a character. That was later revised to something more like $500,000 or $600,000 to fully max out a character after some hidden mechanics were discovered. Oh, and if you wanted to max out all the classes in the game, you're talking about millions of dollars potentially, because I don't know why. I don't know why they would do this. I don't know why people would spend money on this. It just escapes me. So this has caused a huge backlash. As we've reported, terrible user score on Metacritic. Blizzard swears that Diablo 4 won't be the same, but they've killed off any goodwill that may have existed, and it wasn't that much that existed to begin with. Meanwhile, it looks like loot boxes are again becoming a hot topic in Europe. Over in the Netherlands, loot boxes have been classified as gambling devices, but then in March, a court found that they don't always violate their country's gambling laws. Well, now multiple political parties in the Netherlands are uniting behind a bill that would outlaw random in-game purchases. It still has to work through the legislative process, but if it passes, the Netherlands will be the second country after Belgium to outlaw loot boxes. You might know that Diablo Immortal didn't launch in either country because of their regulations. The motion posted on Reset Era claimed that in video games, children are manipulated into making microtransactions, and that loot boxes are also a form of gambling. It goes on to claim that as a result of these payments, they can get addicted and can burden families with unexpected bills for these transactions. This is the proposed legislation in the Netherlands. Meanwhile, Spain is also apparently poised to crack down on loot boxes. Reuters reported that the government will, in a few weeks, regulate gaming features that offer prizes with an economic value in a real or virtual market and that can be resold or exchanged, including using non-fungible tokens or cryptocurrencies. The aim is to avoid thoughtless, compulsive, or even pathological consumer behavior. Consumer Minister Alberto Garzón said that the law would allow gamers to have fun while preserving their health, but he didn't really give specific details about the regulation. So we will see. So who knows? Maybe the dominoes are starting to fall against loot boxes. We have heard some grumblings about the subject in the UK and in the US, but this is the first time I've seen Spain pop up. So that's interesting. As for the US, there has been a minor amount of movement on the issue of loot boxes. In 2019, the Federal Trade Commission held a hearing on the subject with several industry stakeholders, including the ESA. They're kind of a lobbying group for the gaming industry. And at those hearings, that's when the ESA announced that the three major console manufacturers would disclose the odds for their loot boxes. That has been about it though. In the US, the industry, in terms of video games, like all industries here, pretty much just gets left to regulate itself. Some people, though, think that Diablo Immortal might be so egregious in its monetization that it could bring about change. Vice ran an article claiming that Diablo Immortal shows that self-regulation doesn't work. Keith White, the executive director of the National Council on Problem Gambling, said that Blizzard might be undermining that concept of self-regulation, saying they are hurting their case for self-regulation because it requires not just a degree of restraint on the industry itself, but trust from the public and from potential regulators. And games like Diablo Immortal build neither. They sure don't, Keith. He added, they undermine public and regulatory trust in not just the company, but in the industry as a whole. And we have seen some bipartisan support for regulating loot boxes in the US, which is rare for any topic these days. In 2019, Republican Senator Josh Hawley introduced the Protecting Children from Abusive Games Act. That is a bill that would ban pay-to-win loot boxes from games that appeal to kids. And again, that was bipartisan. It didn't go anywhere, but if games keep going down this predatory road in terms of monetization, you can bet we will see some more government action around the issue. All right, we will get to the rest of the stories in just a second, but guys, first, hey, you got Bush? You definitely do if you haven't tried the best products from our sponsor, Manscaped. Yeah, you got to take control of your bush. It's important. These products are so good, you're going to be sowing some pride in your bush-free yard. It's going to be nice and trimmed. Save big and be the most hygienic version of yourself by using our discount code ROUNDUP for 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. I gotta tell you, I have Manscaped. I keep my stuff trimmed. You don't think about it, but once it's nice and trimmed, trust me, you will know, you will feel better. You'll get some comments maybe from your loved ones. That's always nice, but you'll be hygienic. It won't maybe smell as much. I'm just saying, just keep it nice and trimmed. Manscaped, they got everything. Inside the package that I recommend is the Performance Package 4.0. Inside is the Lawnmower 4.0. That is an electric trimmer. It is a bush's worst nightmare, so to speak. So here's what you got to do, guys. Get 20% off plus free shipping with our code ROUNDUP at manscaped.com. Now, Kate Bush might be trending, but that's not the Bush we're talking about. So here's what you got to do. Again, it's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use our code ROUNDUP. It's time you level up from the Amazon to the Amadong with the ultimate bushwhacking tools from Manscaped. So there you go. All right, on to the rest of the stories. Speaking of Diablo Immortal, the Chinese developer NetEase, which you might remember co-developed the game with Blizzard, is now working on a free-to-play mobile game with Bungie. Yeah, and it is what you think it is. The Game Post discovered this via a LinkedIn post from one of the NetEase artists who said that their company, in cooperation with Bungie, is helping to develop an unannounced FPS mobile game. They also quoted a source who said that the studio is working on a new Destiny game. There it is, and the title has been in development for over 2 years now. They said that the unannounced game is apparently not related to Destiny 2, but who knows? Maybe in the same universe, I don't know. There's been some reporting in the past that Bungie might be working on a Destiny mobile game with NetEase, so there has been some smoke around this rumor. Bungie CEO Pete Parsons has said that NetEase has, quote, a significant amount of experience in mobile that we don't have, and that this new partnership will allow them to, quote, incubate new ideas. Just, if they make it, whatever. Square Enix has delayed its action RPG Forspoken until next year, but it's early next year, so that's good. The publisher announced the decision on the game's Twitter account, saying that as a result of ongoing discussions with key partners, we have made the strategic decision to move the launch date of Forspoken to January 24th, 2023. All game elements are now complete and development is in its final polishing phase. This is the second big delay of Forspoken. It was initially going to come out in May this year for PS5 and Windows, but they pushed that to the fall. They said they needed time to polish. Then you might remember Square Enix revealed the game in 2020. It was called Project Athia, and it featured a young lady from New York. She was sent to this magical land of Athia, and she got all kinds of magical powers. It looks cool, so we'll see. Hopefully it's a good Square Enix game, not a terrible Square Enix game. We've got a surprise release of a new Gwent game this week. IGN broke the story at midweek that CD Projekt Red was going to release Gwent Rogue Mage, which is a single-player deck-building roguelike. By the time you watch this, the game will be out. It was previously known as Project Golden Necker, and while it's branded as a Gwent expansion, it retains the card game's core mechanics, but it will be sold separately from the original. Game director Vladimir Torsov told IGN, Rogue Mage came out of us noticing that years after The Witcher 3's release, there are a significant number of players who want a more PvE experience from Gwent. IGN said Rogue Mage is more of a return to the Witcher 3 version, which many of us fell in love with. It's not PvP focused, it's more PvE. You start with 12 cards, then you get more while exploring the procedurally generated map. On each run, players earn experience, enabling them to get stronger cards during their next attempt. Yeah, it's a roguelike, you get it. Tortsov estimated it will take players more than 30 hours to collect and do everything in the game, and the standard version is available for $9.99. Good news for Fall Guys, which recently went free to play across all platforms. Looks like Everybody checked it out. I checked it. I played Fall Guys for the first time in 2 years again. The game's account tweeted that they hit 50 million players in 2 weeks. Of course, a lot of that is because, of course, they switched to a free-to-play Battle Pass model nearly 2 years after it first came out. There were some technical hiccups. It looks like they got it rolling again. So yeah, it was a big pandemic hit in 2020, but it looks like Fall Guys have some staying power. So there you go. All right, time for a 5-second review. I like Rise. Sunbreak is a great expansion. Once again, I still feel like an old man when it comes to the wire bug. I'm like, back in my day, we had to stay on our feet mostly. All right, let's talk about the games coming out next week. First up, Zell is an epic 3D sci-fi fantasy action adventure. Explore the mysterious world of Zell, I think that's how you pronounce an X, and help protagonist Reed uncover her enigmatic past. Make new friends and foes along the way and collect exciting gadgets to master challenging dungeons and solve time-bending puzzles. Comes to PC July 12th. Time on Frog Island. Cast away on an island paradise complete with a cast of friendly frogs. Enjoy sandbox island life and explore at your own pace, solving sticky situations for your new friends, and trading your way to fixing your ship. It comes to PS5, Xbox Series X, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC July 12th. Loopmancer is a 3D platformer roguelike action game with realistic graphics that takes place in a cyberpunk universe. Players play as a detective who comes back to life after an unexpected death and battle in this lifelike and futuristic city of the East. Comes to PC July 13th. Escape Academy. Welcome to Escape Academy. Train to become the ultimate escapist, solve puzzles, hack servers, meet the faculty, brew the perfect cup of tea, escape rooms in single player or co-op with a friend, local or online. It comes to PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, and PC July 14th. Clanfolk is a colony life sim set in the medieval Scottish Highlands. Clear the land, build a home, hunt, fish, gather, craft, have children, marry them off, raise livestock, farm, meet the neighbors, do everything. Build your home or die trying, basically. Comes to PC July 14th. Eyes in the Dark, the curious case of one Victoria Bloom. Fight with light against the dark in this roguelite, get it? Platformer starring Victoria Bloom. Drive back the darkness that's overrun Bloom Manor and conquer swarms of creatures as you discover powerful new items to upgrade your arsenal. Are you ready to enter the ever-changing manor? Comes to PC July 14th. And finally, Rune Factory 5. In the sleepy border town of Rigbarth, mysterious events are unfolding, affecting the runes that govern the balance between humanity and nature. As the newest ranger for the peacekeeping organization Seed, protect the frontier town by rounding up rowdy monsters with your official Seed-issued spell seal. When not on a mission, work with the people of Rigbarth to help the town flourish through farming, festivals, and friendship. Comes to PC July 15th. That's all the news I got for you this day, guys. I hope you're having a great weekend. It was great meeting so many of y'all at RTX. Super fun. We'll see you soon.